everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to Return Us, the show for investors hungry for the next big opportunity, especially when it's under the radar. Oh, by the way, I'm Marvin.
And I'm Will, and today we're diving into a story that's getting global headlines but may fly under the radar for most investors. A story that could reshape tech, infrastructure, and possibly your portfolio.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Do I hear something? Do I see something?
What?
Do I hear?
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
I hear some squeaking. All right, man. We got to take a second out. Will, we got to do our famous shoe cameo, man. What do you got on today, man? What are you walking around with today?
Today the shoes is the Nike Jordan ones. Or I'm sorry, these are the Nike High Dunks. And this is the Run the Jewels, so the Killer Mike Run the Jewel versions.
I see you out here. I see you out here.
Yeah,
Man, looks
love
nice,
it.
man. Bold move.
Got them laced up today. Uh, and then, it's hard to find stuff to wear with them sometimes, but I got this one shirt. It's a
All
good one. So it's tough, but yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, let's get back to it, brother.
right. Man, appreciate you. So, guys, get laced up out there. But today, we're going to talk about bold moves, and we're going to talk about a company called Cassava Technologies and a major backing from AI giant Nvidia. So let's get into it. Will, take us there.
Let's get into it.
For sure.
So, with that, this is about, I know a lot of people have seen it, but I'm going to let Marvin talk more about it. But basically, this Zimbabwe billionaire has partnered with NVIDIA. And Marvin, tell us more about it.
Yes. So on October 25th, 2025, Cassava Technologies, backed by a major African entrepreneur, secured a strategic investment from Nvidia. And this is according to Billionaire Daily, but it's been all over the news. So big up to that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a huge deal. Um, it's a huge situation. Cassava isn't just a small startup; it's a pan-African digital infrastructure company offering fiber networks, data centers, cloud, fintech, more. So it is everything that we need in Africa regarding technology infrastructure to get the job done.
I love it. Exactly. Exactly. That's a huge, big win. And now with Nvidia in the mix, Cassava plans to build what they call AI factories across Africa, meaning serious GPU powered data centers, high performance computing, cloud AI services. This is all can be explored in ForbesAfrica.com if you want to learn more.
And just to be clear, the CEO, we should definitely mention him. He's a brother of ours, right? The CEO is Hardy Pamhiva. And again, doing huge things when it comes to this strategic alliance with NVIDIA. In a continent where historically there's been a lack of high end computing infrastructure, this changes the game for founders, for companies, and also for investors.
Most definitely. I couldn't have said it better. It's not about just the infrastructure, it's about the new potential. Anytime there's innovation and a flood of capital like that, think of the possibilities. So listen up for startups and researchers and governments and entrepreneurs across Africa. Now they're going to have access to world-class AI and cloud resources locally. And that's a huge performance lift because they don't have to rely on foreign data centers and all the old ways. So I'm excited for those opportunities for my brothers over there.
So it begs the question, right? I'm thinking about it. Could this shift create a new wave of tech startups, innovation, and returns specifically for investors? Because this show is focusing on investors, especially those who are willing to back early, high upstart opportunities. Let's keep in mind, again, Africa is the youngest
Hmm.
uh, group of people in the world, right?
Hmm.
Youngest entrepreneurs coming up. It has 30 to 40% of the critical minerals that we need for the world when it comes to technology. And then all the arable land, 65 to 70% of the arable land in the world. So the food that we need in order to feed ourselves, in order to compute, in order to invest, sits there in Africa. So it is a huge opportunity, and our investors seeing that opportunity. What do you think, Marvin?
And I just want to thank you for highlighting that because, that's an undeniable fact and it's an exciting one as well. So what I think is what we got to shift our minds to is what this means for investors and especially as regards to crowdfunding. So, at the heart of what we do here at Return Us, right? We all know that because when big structure moves like this happen, expansion of AI and infrastructure and all these big things, we always believe in opportunity of chance, and chance always happens when you strike early. So there's a chance for ordinary investors, including crowdfunders, to catch this new opportunity and ride this wave, and that's what we're very passionate about.
Yeah. We absolutely are passionate about. That's exactly the groundwork um, that we're trying to lay. Think about it this way: in developing tech markets, investing early in API infrastructure or AI-enabled services usually requires deep-pocketed VCs or big funds, but not now. With entities like Asava building foundation infrastructure, there could be more room for smaller investors via crowdfunding or microequity or pre-seed rounds in an African-based AI or tech startup. And that's not something that you can traditionally do right now in places like the U.S. But there, as an investor, you can find the right spots to be able to get in early on these things being built that are absolutely going to be the future of the continent.
I love it. I love it. This is like the early tech bubble of the 1999s, late 1999s, and around '08 when fiber optic and DSL was going into. Anyway, let me stop my nerd talk. But exactly, the point here is that the groundwork, fiber optics, data centers, cloud computing, they're all emerging. It's all being laid. It's all happening right now. So the lower ones of the biggest barriers for African entrepreneurs, those barriers are kind of being lifted. So now, there's an opportunity to have access to the hardware, latency free data, storage, and computer power. And Will, as you can attest to, this is going to, I foresee, major, like you said, startups being spawned from this.
And if you're an investor with global vision, right, we're interested in diversifying beyond the traditional markets, African tech infrastructure plus AI can be a hidden frontier. And unlike the boom or the bubble that we had back in the early 90s, we know the AI and the infrastructure that is going to need is never going away. It's just going to increase. I mean, we've all seen the movie The Matrix. We hope we
Hmm.
don't end up that way. But again, the infrastructure is going to continue to increase as AI increases.
Yeah, hope we don't, man. I don't want to eat that oatmeal and be plugged into anything. But I will say, um, if you have a crowdfunding mentality, if you have crowdfunding platforms or other democratized investment models start to get involved, then the most exciting part, and this is the theme what we talk about, is it gives ordinary people the chance and the exposure to get into these early growth sectors. And it's cool because it's kind of always historically been reserved for the big players, the big funds, and the big insiders. So I always like to see regular people get a chance.
And as always, big potential comes big risk. So we want to put that out there. All risks, there's always risk when it comes to investing. It could be a liquid risk and other things. But what you should, as a crowdfunding investor, watch out for is spaces where, well, I'll let Marvin break it down. What spaces should they be looking for, Marvin?
Cool, man. Yeah, we're gonna with like I said, with all spaces there comes risk and challenges, as Will was saying. But good call. First, execution risk. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Building data centers, deploying GPUs, establishing AI factories, especially across the diverse landscapes and challenges in the African ecosystems. It's a massive undertaking that can't be underestimated. It is a lot of work. Any type you're dealing with infrastructure, you're dealing with logistics and millions of different other factors. So infrastructure, power stability, regional, local economies. You have to keep in mind and understand that all of these challenges can throw balls into your strategy or your investment.
Absolutely. Another thing is on early stage startups and emerging markets, they tend to have higher volatility. So even if it's good infrastructure, there's no guarantee that the local adoption and human capital or business models will scale fast enough for the returns.
Yeah. Another thing to take in mind is the transparency of the companies in the investment vehicle. So crowdfunding is Crowdfunding in emerging markets may come with less regulatory oversight, but you as a intelligent investor, you need to make sure you understand what you're investing in. First of all, you have to understand the governance, the exit strategy, and the valuation. You have to do your due diligence.
Absolutely. Um, you know, Ideally align teams that understand the local context, entrepreneurs who know the landscape and the challenges and opportunities, because the AI factory gives infrastructure, but human capital, understanding the local markets, and execution discipline will determine who succeeds in this market.
Hmm. Hmm. So, crowdfunding, global impact, and why the story matters for us. We always got to ask the why. Why does it matter to us? Why does it matter to you? Well, what does this mean for the mission here at Return Us? Well, for listeners who believe in investing with global impact, the story is a signal. Remember, you'll hear us say that many times. Here's a signal. Signals normally mean the start of something. So I'm gonna let Will expound upon what that signal we believe is and what it could be.
That signal is a signal that frontier markets, Africa in this case, could be the next big tech AI infrastructure growth. And in my mind, I'll go ahead and say it. I think it absolutely is. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
all in when it comes to Africa. I know that we have to always play devil's advocate when it comes to investing, but Africa seems to me, by all respects, just looking at the future and not just now, that an investor who's open minded enough to look past Silicon Valley will have real innovation, real impact, real opportunity from the ground up in early stage companies that again is in the fastest growing economy in the world.
100%. And that's why we love combining our mission, helping investors find hidden value with a sense of global responsibility. And with inspirational stories like Cassava plus Nvidia, we can now see that the infrastructure is being built. So now the $1 million question is, who are the entrepreneurs that will build on top of it? Who's going to take advantage of it? Is it me? Is it you? Will? Is it you?
And maybe, just maybe, some of those new companies will be able to be helped through some crowdfunding, right? Like that's what we're looking forward to. That's why we're placing our flag on the continent.
Yeah.
And again, we think that this right here is the opportunity. So as we start to talk, you will notice that more and more our podcast is gearing towards what we think is the next frontier. Not just because we're black, right? That we are black, but more importantly, because we've seen that there's opportunities that you don't necessarily have in places like the US, for example, to be able to invest early. See, I wasn't able to invest early in NVIDIA. I wasn't able to invest early in Meta, in
Yeah.
some of these other companies. Even, Chat GPT, I wasn't able to invest early, but I would love to have the opportunity. That's the type of opportunity that I think that we have over there on the continent.
Much appreciated. That's real. So, guys, thank you. And if you stayed till the end, we really appreciate that as well. And if you're still listening, we want you to be a part of the signal. We want you to prosper. But please do us a favor, head over to returnus.com because each week we're running a pitch competition, rewarding founders with prizes and, more importantly, exposure to investors like you.
And we believe that great ideas, especially from underrepresented regions and underrepresented founders and emerging markets, deserve just as much attention and funding as anybody else. So check us out. Sign up if you're an entrepreneur or a founder. If you're an investor, please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have about investing over in the continent. And until next time, keep investing, keep believing. This is Returnus.
Invest smart, stay safe out there. Until next time.
Take care.